This conference will now be recorded.
And that it's illuminated correctly.
This is Jenny again. That light looks to me as though it's been painted perhaps more than once. So you may find that it cannot be adjusted.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to make a motion on this, and I'm going to provide some latitude as to how we address that problem, okay?
Bill, hold on, Bill.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
This is Lisa. Can I make the motion?
Yes, okay, all right, go ahead.
So I make a motion that the HPB will approve a sign with conditions made by Robin Lazio Lasser. Property is 7 Shone Place. The approval of this application is subject to the following conditions. Letters are raised about 1/4 inch from the surface, and the illumination of the light above will be centered on the sign. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Nope.
How do we vote? Dorothea, you want to call out the vote?
Do it.
Hold it. Who seconded that motion?
Who seconded that motion?
Bill McBride. I did.
Bill. Okay. And so I'll do the roll call. Chairman McBride.
Yes.
Member Cove.
Yes.
Member Searle.
Yes.
Member Morrow.
Yes.
Member Harrington.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Motion approved.
Motion approved.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate
All
it.
righty, thank you.
Look, I'm excited.
All right, the
Thank
next application is a fence at 67 State Street. Is Brooks Fossey there?
Yes, I am.
And Brooks, would you describe what you want to do? We have your application. We all have your application in front of us.
Sure.
Would you describe this, please?
Sure. The application is for a fence along the side yard. There's a small section behind the garage where an existing fence doesn't connect to the garage. It's 9 feet. So connecting the existing fence to the end of the garage, and then a fence along the side yard for 54 feet, a wooden 6-foot fence. And then it comes up to the front corner of an addition of the house, but not the front corner of the house.
Okay, all right. And then there is a section behind the frame garage. Is that correct?
A small, it's like nine feet that there's a fence that comes up to it, but there's a gap between the garage and the existing fence.
Oh, okay, all right, okay. And these are all, each one is a 9-foot long section that's 6 foot high. Is that correct?
I don't know what the length of each section is. I can probably get that information, but yes, it would be a 6 foot high wood fence. Steve seems like he has something.
Steve knows.
Oh, somewhere in the application, I thought it said that it was 9 foot long. Each.
Bill?
Yes.
Bill, it's
Yes.
8 sections, 54 feet long, which means each section is 6 foot wide.
Thank you, Steve.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right. Except for the one section that goes between the frame garage and the lot line, right?
Right.
That's 5 foot. Okay. Okay. And
This is Lisa.
do we have any issues, questions, concerns by board members?
Yes, this is Lisa. Brooke. I'm looking at the drawing that you had submitted, and it shows that the fence has to come down along the edge. It looks like it's has to kind of step down. Is that because the property's uneven?
Well, that was our drawing. I don't actually know because an architect did not do that. Yes, the driveway slopes very slowly and the driveway does. I don't know then if the fence needs to or if they just, I don't know.
This is Jenny
Well, it
Searle.
would have to be because the slope of the ground, it wouldn't, if each section is 6 foot high. So that's the reason for that. drop.
Yes. This is Jenny Searle. Yes, the fence, if the height of this, if each panel is only 6 feet high, then it must step down as the grade changes.
Yes, it's not a steep grade, but it does slope down.
Right. Well, you
So then-
don't want critters to be crawling under your fence.
Okay, so you're going to step down it instead. It's significant. The grade change is significant enough for it to step down instead of slope down. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Yes.
This is Jenny again. Lisa, if the fence sloped down, then it would not be a consistent 6 feet high.
Well, the actual.
Correct. Right. Yeah.
Can I ask a question? What's wrong with critters going underneath the fence? Because we kind of have shared custody of some bunny rabbits and other little animals that could.
Well, if she's got vegetables planted along her fence, then maybe she doesn't want your bunnies coming over and eating vegetables.
That's
It's a driveway.
Could we please identify each other? This is Jeff Turner, Village Attorney. Could you identify yourselves before you
Oh, I'm
speak?
sorry. This is Lindsay Graham, 65 Third Street, next door to the Fosses.
Miss Graham, I'm going to ask you not to interrupt unless the board recognizes speakers.
sorry.
Typically, just the applicants during this section, okay? This isn't an open meeting. You're allowed to watch or listen, but you can't participate
Oh,
unless.
apologies. Somebody sent critters going underneath, and I don't think we
I
can.
understand. We're going to mute you.
I'm muting.
Participate. Thank you.
Okay, so do we understand, Lisa and Jenny, that this is a step-down fence? Each section runs about 6 feet and then drops because of the slope of the ground. Is that correct?
Correct. So the way that it's drawn here, what's been submitted is going to be how it's going to step down. Correct?
That's my understanding. This is Jenny. That's my understanding. That's what's shown. That's
Okay.
if the grade slopes, that's about the only option if they want a 6-foot fence.
Okay. I have no other questions.
Okay. Lisa, you want to do your good job of making a motion for approval. One thing you need to add to this, based upon the discussion that we've had, is that the fence has to be inside the property line slightly, and that the smooth side, the finished side, is facing outside. The supports beams are on the inside of the fence.
Correct.
Okay. Let me just state what
Well,
for the.
hey, we should not be getting into where she's putting the fence unless it's an architectural consideration. You know, where she puts it is her business, unless, as between her and her neighbor, is really not our call.
And then also, let me just state, she did submit wood privacy fence connecting existing fence to rear garage, setback from property line by 4.5 feet. So she has the setback in here.
No, it's not set back by 4.5 feet. We have 4.5 feet on that side, I think, that you're looking at, or 5 feet on that side.
Well, it says setback from property line by 4.5 feet. Is that incorrect? Right in the.
Where you're seeing that in the application.
You want to see? Can you guys see this?
No, because you're not shown on the screen, Lisa.
What?
Jenny, this is Jenny. May I make a comment, please? On her instrument survey map that she has included with her application, there are dimensions given for the distance between the structure and the property line. And that's clearly indicated on the instrument survey map. So
Okay.
if you look where it says frame garage, if you look where it says frame garage, to the left of it, there's a little arrow that says 5.1. That means the garage at that corner is 5.1 feet from the property line. At the rear of the garage, it's 4.5 feet. That's a surveyor's dimension given.
Okay, so
Okay,
I'm only.
let me cut this short here. This is Bill McBride. Jeff Turner, our attorney, just said that The issue of the inset is not, from the property line, is not an issue that we have to deal with.
Okay.
Not only that, this is Jeff Turner again. I would point out that the plans she submitted show exactly where the fence is going to go in relation to the property line. So, I mean, she's told us where it's going to go.
Okay, then that's all I wanted to know.
This is Jenny again. I was only trying to make it to help Lisa understand that the dimension is the surveyor's dimension and it's shown on the instrument survey map. I wasn't discussing where she was placing it. I was merely giving information about the document she's looking at.
Okay, good. Okay. Lisa,
So-
you want to make your motion, please?
Okay with me making a motion? I will make a motion then to approve as submitted the application for a fence made by Brooke Fossey, the property of 67 State Street. Do I have a second?
To that, I would add that the finished side has to be facing the neighbors.
Okay, so I will change the motion to approve with conditions. The conditions are that the finished side will face the neighbors. Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, I'll do the roll call.
May
Chair?
I ask one question, please? I'm sorry, I don't have my ordinance open. Just for my information, and I'm not trying to cause problems here, is not it a requirement of the ordinance that the good side of the fence face to the outside?
It is a requirement.
Okay.
Yes,
But the fence
and we stated so.
sides.
Okay.
Okay, roll call. Chair McBride,
Yes.
Member Cove,
Yes.
Member Searle,
Yes.
Member Morrow,
Yes.
and Member Harrington.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank
You
you
have a
all.
fence. The next application is also a fence, and it is at number 9 Wood Street. Is the applicant on board? Number 9 Wood Street. Is the applicant on board? There?
He was.
Was.
I thought so.
Gary?
Yeah.
Mr. Lorenz, are you on still?
I thought he was there some
Yeah,
time
he
ago.
was.
Maybe he gave up. Yeah.
Okay, well.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll come back to him if he comes back. Let's move to 21 Cheyenne Place. Hello?
I just wondered if he's muted somehow.
I don't see him unless he's a caller. So I would suggest at this time just to skip his application and go back in between and see if he pops out.
Who is the other?
We can come back to him. Okay, so next application is 21 Cheyenne Place, windows. This is a reapplication with changes from an application that was rejected at the last meeting.
Can I get a clarification? I have 4 Shone Place as the address.
Well, maybe I made a mistake. That's his office, but the
Oh, I'm
building
sorry.
is
That was my mistake. I see it. 21 Shone Place above.
21.
Okay.
Right.
Sorry.
Okay, Mike Newcomb, are you there?
Yep.
Mike, would you like to present your application and describe how that changes from the previous application you had?
Well, we just changed, we added some spacing between the windows in the back. And also enclosed a picture of the whole back of the building. So it's a little more visible how the existing building with the existing windows is not balanced. That seemed to be one of the concerns last time. Otherwise, the windows are the same material as the existing building, the same material and same brand as the existing windows in the building.
Are they the exact same size as the previous ones that were presented?
This is Jenny Searle. I do not believe they are. I believe that Mr. Newcomb has increased the height of the window from 23 inches to 29 inches.
Yeah.
Is that correct, Mr. Newcomb?
Yes, a bit bigger, and also added spacing between them to make them feel more self-standing.
Mhm. Mhm.
This is Lisa. So I don't see spacing between them. I see that you have maybe some wood framing there, maybe that separates them, but they still look like a 3 kind of condensed window pane. Is that correct?
Well, yes, I guess I'm not using the right terms, but yes, we added some framing between them, I guess I should say.
Okay. So the windows still look like a grouping. They still look like a grouping of 3.
Yes, I'm sure they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the difference is that you increased the size a bit, and you added the framing in there to kind of give them a little bit more, make them a little more substantial.
Yes.
Plus, you took away a window that was over to the left of those. Is that correct?
No.
No, I hope not.
Oh, I thought you took away that. Okay, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Ken Morrow. Mike, is the far left is a utility room, isn't it?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you very well.
In the far left where there's no window, isn't that a utility room?
Yes, there's a furnace right in front of that space.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, okay. So that wasn't moved. That was the same location as the original. Plastic. Okay.
I can't hear.
I'm sorry. Somebody's talking. I can't understand what they're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I can answer any questions you have.
Okay. Any questions, any concerns, any issues? Give us your name and ask.
This is Jenny Searle. Mike, I appreciate that you've added the mullions. That framing in between is called a mullion. And
Yeah.
that's the traditional way when windows are grouped in 2s or 3s or 4s. Traditionally, there was a mullion in between because the structural support was required. So I appreciate that addition of a traditional feature to these 3 windows. I also appreciate that you made them longer than they had been previously. That was a comment made by the board last time. I would like to just make a few comments. This is a utilitarian building, and the building is substantially changed from its original form. If you look at the application from last month, there is a photograph from, this must be 1976. If I hold it up here, you're not going to be able to see it, but it's on the, whoa, sorry, I'm going to float around in space here. There, that's what it looked like. So the building has been substantially changed from its original construction. What we see there now, Mike, when was the building rehabilitated for Victor Furniture?
About 11 years ago.
Okay, so in essence, and did you add, when did the gambrel roof, when did the two pitch roof move? Was that 11 years ago, or was that earlier than that?
Everything that, I'm not sure what your question is, I'm sorry.
The original building that is on the resource inventory form, the blue form, shows a building with a gambrel roof, a barn type roof. like with two, a flatter slope and then a steeper slope.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that
when
was
was
a,
that?
that was an addition on the front of the building, and that was taken off when we did this 11 years ago.
Okay, and Milton was originally an oil company, correct? And there were oil tanks around the
Yeah,
building.
yeah,
So
there were big oil tanks in the front.
so the whole site and the building have been significantly changed from their original configuration in the 30s, I think. Is that right, Mike? Around in the 1930s sometime.
Well, all the oil tanks and everything were installed in the 30s and 20s, but the building, the main building was built in the 60s, I believe, the early 60s.
Okay, I think I remember that actually. Okay, so regardless, the building that we see there now is significantly changed from the original. So the windows and the window placing on the main block of the building are a modern placement. Is that correct, Mike?
Yes.
Okay.
All the windows were put in this 11 years ago.
Right, and I think were the walls raised to accommodate the higher roof or the change in the roof? It looks like it might have been to me, but I didn't follow that closely, so I can't speak to that exactly. I think it's important to remember that this is a utilitarian building. It's a building that's been significantly changed from its original configuration. The wing on the east side is proportionally appropriate because it's an addition and it's smaller, and it clearly identifies it as an addition. And I think it's important to retain those relative proportions. The main block of the building is larger and taller. The existing windows on the second floor only of that building are taller than they are wide. And I think that the longer, lower wing that's off to the east is, because of its proportions of being, the wing itself is longer than it is tall. I think that the windows there are appropriately sized, and at this point, with the addition of the mullions in between, are referencing a traditional window configuration that I think is appropriate. This application is for the rear of the building. It's on the north side, and on the north side, for energy conservation reasons, you would want to reduce the window size to reduce your heating load in the winter on that building. I think the massing of the wing is appropriate for the addition. I think I said that already, but that relates again to the smaller size of the windows in that space.
Okay.
Let me make one more point, please, Bill. The windows that he's proposing are a 6-light window, which does reference back to the tall windows on the second floor of the main building, which are 6/6. I'm going to call them double hung. I don't know if they're operable or not, but they appear to be double hung windows.
Okay.
This is for Lisa. This is for Steve. Steve, I again, you know, I'm a stickler about really drawing on the photo, and I really would have liked to have seen, even though I've got the sketch, and I know Ginny, you're going to say we should learn how to read the architectural drawings, but it would help me significantly if, to scale, that drawing would have been placed on the actual photo of this picture. So in future, please, it would help me so much to have that architectural drawing placed on the actual photo as well. Thank you.
All right, couple things. I'm not going to get into the whole picture thing. I want to make sure Mr. Lorenz is now on. He got muted before when he called in and he could not speak.
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, but we have to finish this, Steve.
I know, I just wanted to make sure he was on so we could go back to him.
Okay, yep, we will. Okay. Is Mayor Corby online? Oh, the mayor told me he wanted to make a comment about these windows, and I can tell you what his comment was he says that there are examples of one-story utilitarian buildings in the village on Main Street, the backs of which have much smaller windows, similar to this, whereas the front of the building might have a large, if it's a retail store, a large open window. But the back of the buildings, in a couple of cases, have windows this size.
Bill,
for the utilitarian spaces.
Can I ask you a question? Are those
Yep.
original or changed over the years? Those
I
buildings.
don't know the answer to that. I don't know the answer to that.
That makes a big difference.
This is Ginny Searle again. I suspect they're original. This is the back of a building. They would not spend money on big windows on the back of the window, on the back of the building. Not on a commercial building.
Okay, well.
So Dorothea, did Mayor Corby ever come online?
Bill, I haven't seen him come online. I had spoken to him earlier. He indicated he was, but he is not here at this time.
Okay. Well, that was the point he wanted to make. Okay. Any other comments from board members? It's Bill McBride.
Ken
any concerns?
Ken and Mark, this is Ginny Searle again. Ken and Mark, do you have any comments? Because you had objections to the original proposal.
Ken, you want to go first or shall I go first? It's up to you.
I'll just say I'm good with what's shown now.
Likewise.
Okay.
I think,
all right.
Yeah, I think likewise, Michael. You did a great job on that, and even that little bit of subtlety is well done, and delighted that you did it.
So I'd like to make a motion, please.
Please do.
Make a motion the HPP will approve as submitted the application for windows made by Mike Newcomb at 21 Schoen Place. Do I have a second?
Yes.
Who's that?
Mark?
Harrington, sorry.
Who's that?
Mark Harrington.
Mark,
Sorry.
okay.
Okay, roll call. Chairman McBride?
Yes.
Member Cove?
Yes.
Member Searle?
Yes.
Member Morrow?
Yes.
And Member Harrington?
Yes.
Okay. Unanimously approved. Congratulations, Mike, and thank you for coming back with some work on that.
Yes, very much. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Okay, so we now have, it was 9 Wood Street fence, and the applicant is online now?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, this is Barry Lorenz.
Okay, Barry, would you describe what you have a fence, and would you describe what you'd like to do?
Sure. What basically is privacy fencing on the rear of my house, encompassing like 3 sides. So the southeast side would be a 40-foot, 6-foot tall fence, 8-foot sections. They're all 8-foot sections. It's called a shadow box type fence. So that runs on the southeast line between my house and my neighbors on my property line. Coming off of that perpendicular, as you can see on the drawing, it comes across the end of my driveway and then back into the corner of the house with a gate. On the rear property line, I'm going to have a 16-foot section that will take me up to the neighbor in the rear's chain link fence. They wouldn't let me take that chain link fence down, so if I'm not continuing it all the way across because I'd have to bring it into the property line like 2 feet, and I have a postage stamp lawn to begin with. And then on the southwest corner, I'm running a, let's see, you have the drawing. a section there. It's basically, I think, 12 feet from the corner of the house to my property line with a gate in the middle. So it's all 6 feet, 8-foot sections. It's called shadow boxing, where it's basically finished side on both sides. It will be finished in like a natural, not painted, but a natural look to it.
Okay. Now, Bill McBride, there's only one side that's really finished, because one side has to have the support posts on it. Correct?
Right. No. Yeah.
I'm looking at the picture here.
Yeah, this type of fencing, the shadow box is what it's called. It's basically, it looks the same on both sides. It's both the finished side. It's both the finish. You'll see the post on both sides.
Do you see the support posts on both sides?
Yeah, yeah.
This is Jenny Searle. Bill, on the photograph, it shows pretty clearly that the posts are visible on both sides. There's a lot of this fencing up along Route 590 going up to Seabreeze. In my opinion, it's a very attractive fence, and it solves that issue of right side, wrong side. Both outside and inside gets a nice looking fence.
Yeah. So the support beams are inside the vertical laths, basically. Is that right?
Yes.
I'm looking at the picture.
Yes.
Right. There's horizontal supports going from beam to beam, and then the lattice, if you want to call it that, runs vertical on that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's good. Yeah, it's a nice looking fence. And you have two gates, and they're both the same as visualized here. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Any questions, issues, concerns by board members?
This is Jenny Searle. I drove by there today, and I'm sorry to tell you, I probably saw you sitting in your backyard.
Okay.
Driving by on Boughton Avenue, I can see why you want a fence.
Yeah, it's really, these houses are just packed together, and everybody's outside more. So, they have neighbors right on top of me.
And the lots are small. You can, as I said, I was on Boughton Avenue, and I could clearly see some man sitting in the backyard enjoying the day. I hope it was you.
That might have been me. Yeah.
So everyone is okay. Can I make a motion, please?
Yes, please do.
I make a motion that HPB approve as submitted an application for a fence made by Barry Lorenz at the property of 9 Wood Street. Do I have a second?
Second.
Bill McBride, I second.
Roll call.
Dorothea?
Aye.
Linda.
Linda?
Yes.
Linda?
Chairman McBride?
I vote yes.
Member Cove?
Yes.
Member Searle?
Yes.
Member Morrow?
Yes.
Member Harrington?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Great. Good.
Okay.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
All righty. Move to the next one, which is 61 West Jefferson Road, front doors. Front door. Do we have 61 Jefferson Road?
Yes, sir. Hi, Gaetano Abate here.
Oh, okay. Could you describe what you want to do and your back after having been here previously, and would you describe that?
Correct. So we were approved for a garage door that was previously a steel door with a 9-light glass, and we would want to continue approving our front door having glass here. Of course, this house has been renovated 4 times since its existence, and we have submitted pictures of the original house having glass doors here. I also have a sworn affidavit from the previous owner from 1962 to 1984 basically claiming that the front door had glass in it. We have,
Okay, let me brief everybody on, in case we forgot. We turned down your front door having glass at the last session. We approved your garage door. We turned down your front door because you were the existing door was not glassed. You're coming back showing us that the original house did in fact have a glass front door, right?
correct.
And you have visuals of that, and you have a letter from the original owner. Is that correct?
Correct. We have submitted pictures of the original glass door, although it's a little unclear. And we also submitted an sworn affidavit from the original owner, James Davis, back in 1962 to 1984, that the original door was glass.
Mm-hmm.
It might be a little difficult to see, although I might state that, not sure how this whole preservation board took place in the village of Pittsford, but certainly there are probably 95% of all the homes in the village of Pittsford have glass front doors. So we're unclear on how this is being denied. Certainly would love to see what the problem is here, and of course.
This is Lisa. I don't have a clear picture of this original glass door. I don't see. I mean, if this is a picture, I can't see it being glass. That's number one.
With all due respect, Lisa, this picture was taken in 1964. And of course, photography at that time wasn't that clear, but
you can't.
I have a sworn affidavit from the original owner that it was glass.
Okay.
And then if you look around you, it's certainly, and I completely, with all due respect, I understand the whole term of preservation here. But at the same time, if you look around you, you're trying to preserve something that has been altered multiple times. And so to what avail do we have, you can't allow glass because the Ministry of Interior doesn't allow it. But at a certain point, we have to come to some kind of communication where, they want a piece of glass in their front door.
Well, this Bill McBride, let me make the original decision a month ago clear. You came to us wanting to change that door from a solid door to a glass door. We had no knowledge. We saw nothing that indicated that that had ever been glass door or wasn't originally. So we made a decision that you were making a change that we couldn't authorize. It doesn't matter that there are other houses around that have glass doors. We based that decision on the fact that you wanted to take a solid door to a glass door, and we didn't see a precedence for it. Now you're coming back and saying, I have evidence that originally, when the house was built in the 60s, this door was in fact glass, and you have a letter from the original owner stating that. Is that all correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
This is Jeff Turner. Do we have a copy of that affidavit in the file somewhere? I haven't seen it.
I'm not sure. Steve, do you have that in your file that we submitted? I certainly have it here, and happy to scan it and send it.
Copy of it. I can get a hold of a copy of it.
Yeah, I can certainly present a copy to you right away.
But Steve, you saw that letter, right? You had that letter.
Yes, I've seen it. I just don't have a copy of it, so I can verify its existence and it's signed by the original owner.
Okay, and you know that person to be the original owner, right?
As far as he says, and as far as they say, it's a family run. It's still the same family in the house. So
this house has been in the family since 1962. It's been the original owner was James Davis. His son then occupied the house. Now his daughter, Jackie Centaro, maiden name Davis, occupies the house to date. We did an extensive renovation here, and so yes, it's been in the house. It's been in the family for a number of years, 50 some odd years, or 48 years.
And you can find no pictures of that that are more clear than the one you gave us, right? The original.
Unfortunately, we cannot, but I can only, yeah, you know, there was a fire in the house back in, I'm not sure, 1968, there was a fire in the house. Certainly a number of alterations. I struggle with the fact with, again, all due respect, we're in a historic preservation society deemed by the village of Pittsford. Where's the back and forth here? And Jeff, maybe this is to you, counselor. Where do you go? Where are you trying to preserve? What are you trying to preserve? What has been deemed a 4, 5, 6 multiple time renovation? Where does the preservation come to effect? And why aren't these clients? And I'm very adamant about it because I know that this is going to add to the house, and certainly I believe it was originally glass. But where's the fine line? I mean,
Does somebody want to help understand the history of the preservation board and knowing that, you know, it's been around for a long time and people on the board do their best with trying to maintain and preserve, but sometimes things change because of the people that are on the board. So we're you know, our charge is to try to preserve what we have available to us now. And that is
and again,
really
Lisa,
preservation.
with all due respect, what are you trying to preserve? What's here now, or what was supposed to be?
Yes. Our decision a month ago was based upon the fact that you wanted to change what we thought was probably original to the house in a solid door without windows. And you had no, you did not present any history in any way to us. So we're trying to preserve what we see existed on the house. Now you've come back to us and said that wasn't the original design of the door. The design I'm proposing is closer to the original design.
Right.
So
if you look at the submission back in I don't know what it was, but it's in that file that we just submitted. What is present today is completely different from the original. It's been altered again a multiple of times, maybe 4 or 5.
Okay, all right. We didn't know that in the last meeting. We didn't know that.
Right.
All right,
And again, with all due respect, I'm just trying to do something for my client that I think is beneficial. Certainly, very period to the time of the house that was built. There's certainly glass door that you allowed for the garage. We'd like it just for the front door, and that's really a minimal, I think, asking.
Let me ask our attorney this question. Jeff, is a letter, because we don't have a very clear visual on this, is a letter from the original owner stating that this glass door type was original to the house enough for us to accept?
I haven't seen the affidavit, obviously, so that's a problem. But if there is an affidavit that explains what this glass door was in 62, that is verification that it was a glass door, what the nature of that glass door was, then that would be something that's acceptable in the record to demonstrate that there used to be glass doors. Whether or not they are appropriate will require findings regarding the house and its current state as related to our ordinance and the Secretary of the Interior standards.
So Jeff, my next question, I'm sorry.
Can I speak, please?
Please, go ahead.
All right, if you look, I know we can't see the front door clearly, but on the old pictures, the oldest picture of that house, if you notice the utility door on the left-hand side, that clearly has glass in the top half of the door. So it would be good I would assume that if they allowed the glass or it was glass in that secondary door, the front door probably would have matched that side door with the original building of the house, because originally that house had a single door with a very small dormer roof over it. So I would assume that in the original building, whoever would have built that house, when they put 2 doors on the front face of the house, you can clearly see the left-hand one has half glass. You would think they would match the front door to the left door.
No.
Right. So the original front door.
You don't assume that the side door matches the front door. Absolutely not. Actually, it's actually the opposite. Usually when you have a
Yeah,
front door.
I think Jeff has given us the right direction here. Okay,
So
we have to make this approval conditional on seeing an affidavit that describes under oath that original door.
Dorothea has something to say.
Yes.
Would it help if the applicant emailed me the affidavit and I displayed it for the board?
Yes.
Please, and certainly very possible. So, and continue.
Right now, you mean? Yeah.
So I asked the board this. Where is your line of preservation? Is it preservation after you claimed the village of Pittsford is preserving what is now or what it used to be, or you can't allow somebody to change that? And Jeff,
well, let me answer that.
May I respond to that, please?
Can I finish, please? Can I please
This
finish?
is Jenny. May I respond to that question, please?
No. Can I finish my question first?
Well,
You already answered your question.
I think I understand where you're getting at, what you're getting at, and I think I can respond to that in an appropriate way, if you're willing to listen.
I don't think you can respond to it if I haven't finished my question, honestly. So,
Okay,
honestly,
go ahead.
so where do you go when you mandate the village of Pittsford is historical preservation? Okay, and now we have a client here who's just trying to get a front door changed, which is minimal in my regard, but of course not. But certainly, where is the limit of the law, Jeff? Your question. Where do you come and say, we're going to take preservation from this point on, with many alterations made to this house? And because it's wood now and it wasn't before, and no one really knows, how do we go about this? And how is it really legal? And that's my question.
May I respond to that
Jenny,
now,
you raised your
please?
hand.
Can we answer your question, please?
Well, now that I asked,
Jenny, you have an answer?
Okay. I'd like to speak now. I think that you are asking a legitimate question, and I was not involved in the original decision on this. I'm new to the board, and our charge is not to prevent change or to maintain an appearance rigidly. You're not doing a restoration. You are not trying to take the house back to its original form with the original door. Now, I'm gonna say that Mr. Davis was not the original owner because the house was built earlier than 1962.
Correct. Correct.
And I've been in that house in between its first renovation and when Mr. Davis bought it. Because a friend of mine lived in that house. So I know that Mr. Davis was not the original owner. Now, to go back to the question at hand. The question at hand is, how does preservation address this, or how should preservation address this? The Preservation Board should look at the building as it exists now and evaluate what is there now, not necessarily go back to whether or not, and this, I'm new to the board, this is my position. You should not necessarily have to go back to an affidavit that says the doors originally had glass. In my opinion, that's not necessary. Plenty of doors in the village of Pittsford, plenty of homes, the village of Pittsford have glass doors. I lived in a house with a glass door. And that glass door was appropriate for the age and style of my house. I would like to go back to what the doors are now. Is it a pair of 4-panel doors? Are they 4-panel doors? I'm sorry, I don't know your name. I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
But Jenny, thank you for that. And I certainly would invite you to see, since you've been in the house before, I'd like to see the renovation here. And there's 6-panel doors. I welcome you. Certainly.
There's 6-panel doors, so is it what's typically called a cross and Bible style? Or that's a...
Exactly, a cross and Bible style.
Cross and Bible style. Okay.
Right. Not original to the house, though.
I recognize that. I know. Yeah. That's been made clear. I see what you're suggesting. And this door, now the style of the house now, after its multiple renovations, is a little
faster document
modern-ish. It's obviously post-war. It's a little modernish. And while I understand why these doors are being proposed, I would suggest that a style that's a little bit more in keeping with the style of the doors that are there right now might be more appropriate. For instance, you could have no muntins in the glass in the door. None of the windows on the house don't have any muntins, do they?
They do. So there are alterations pre-historic preservation.
Do the existing windows in the house have muntins?
Yes.
Okay.
Buttons between the glass. Again, prehistoric preservation. Yes, they do.
Well, not prehistoric preservation, but my point is, in my opinion, it would be more appropriate and more in keeping with the house as it is now to have doors with glass that more closely reflect the style of the door that's there now. Because the ones I see here now appear to me very modern. They're contemporary to now, not to maybe 1962. So maybe if you had, maybe if there were two panels of glass with a small divider in between, or I'm sorry, when I drove by today, I could not tell whether or not there were muntins in the window, and I don't know what the proportions of the panes are.
Yeah. So, and I love where you're coming with this.
I personally don't object to changing out doors to have glass. I would suggest something that's a little more in keeping with the doors that are on there now. But that's my opinion.
Well, and that's a great opinion. I would do anything that would allow glass, period. It does not have to have muttons between the glass. It doesn't have the applied muttons. It doesn't have the simulated divided light or true divided light. If we can just have glass in this house, it would make a world of difference for.
Well, yeah. Let me just complete my thought, Lisa, and then I'll be happy to turn it over to you. My opinion is that this is not a restoration. No one is taking that house back to any prior period, that it's been changed too much. So the question is this change appropriate and compatible with what exists there now? And I think glass in the doors is appropriate and is compatible. But I would suggest a little different style on the door that reflects more the style that is the style of the house now.
So, all right, thank you. This is Lisa. Thank you, Ginny. I totally agree with you on that. And as far as for the applicant, what that means is that we probably can give you some guidance as to what's more architecturally appropriate for that era of the house with glass in it, because I know that that's what we're looking for. So
I'm positive my client Lisa would be absolutely ecstatic on any style that you deserve, as long as it has glass. And reason being, glass is important to it. It's a north-facing home, and it's really dark there. So certainly, we'd be open to any reasonable offer.
Okay, so Ginny.
Okay, let's then talk about how that would look, Ginny.
Well, I've made a couple of suggestions, and if the applicant would like to have a discussion or come in for send cut sheets for a preliminary review and get a response from the board members, I think that would be reasonable. I don't want to dictate what you get. If you want to do glass,
you don't have to dictate that. But certainly, what would you think be appropriate, Jenny? Certainly, muttons between the glass to look like a simulated divided light isn't working. Would it be clear glass? I mean, we're happy to do whatever you would suggest, as long as.
And would it be glass top to bottom?
I'm sorry, Ginny. I think the applicant needs to do a little research on the era of probably like 1960s-ish with glass and see what they pull up.
So so that already been done, Lisa. This house is a 1960-ish colonial. It
Right.
has traditional divided light glass. So what we submitted is my true explanation of what a colonial is. It's a 9 light divided light, actually muttons with peanut glass, which is just a better rendition of insulated glass. So that's my interpretation. I would love now at this point that we submitted it. If you have something different, if you want no muttons in the glass or 2 muttons in the glass, I'm happy to do whatever. But we just really need to just get this done. And I really, at that point, if I have glass, I'm happy. So you tell me. I've done my research. This is a true colonial style house, which it has usually divided light. It's usually simulated divided light because it was so expensive to do true divided light, if you know the difference there.
Yeah.
But everything in the house has that button, has that grill. If it's an applied grill, it has it.
Jenny,
Yes,
can you see my door?
Yeah.
yes,
That's a 6 light colonial door.
yes, I know, but that's not enough light. They want more light than that.
Well, I'd love more light than that, but
I
I'd
know
settle for
what
it.
you're talking about, Steve. I just don't think that's enough because it's a double door. It's
Hey,
a
Jenny,
much larger opening.
If that
I
was
think
enough, would that be
it
acceptable?
needs much larger glass.
No, if that was enough, is that acceptable to you? Because I can get away with a 6 divided light there and 2 doors. Remember, I'm talking about a 72-inch opening. So if I can get away with 9 lights or 12 lights, is that acceptable to you?
Okay, so, well, hold on one second, because what the board cannot do is we cannot give you exactly what you are going to present, because we need to have whatever you've decided presented to us. So what I would recommend is for you to maybe send us a couple other options for us to look at, and then when you make your decision, it's going to have to be presented with what you've decided, but we can't make the decision for you.
Can I make a suggestion?
You can tell me that what I've offered.
Jeff, go ahead.
So my suggestion would be to look at what he has proposed and talk about how it works or how it could be altered to work.
If that's an acceptable offer in 6 divided light, I will certainly submit a 6 divided light door. If a 9 divided light is too much, then understandably so, I'm declined, I won't. But 6 works for me. I'm not telling you what to tell me what I should put in here. I'd like to tell me what you would accept so we can just finalize this.
Well,
So
I guess we have to see it. We'd have to see it.
Acceptable, I'm in.
We'd have to see it. It'd have to be submitted.
I agree with Lisa. We need to see what you're proposing, not make something up.
The exact same front door that Steve just showed me, a 6 divided light overhead, and that would be acceptable for my client, and we can put this to rest.
Okay, would you show us that? We need to see it, and we can do this one of 2 ways. Okay, we can. Well, no, we can't. We need to see what you want to do first before we can make a motion for approval.
I'll submit a PDF. Be done.
Could I make a suggestion? What if you found a door that looked quite similar to the existing doors, except that in the upper panels, the upper 4 panels, those are all glass?
Certainly.
Yeah, that's a good.
More light.
Yeah.
How about I submit 2 options, and then the board can approve 1 or 2 options. So I'm happy to do that. No problem. And thank you, Jenny.
Okay, let's do that. Rather than try and imagine what it would look like and give you some direction now for an approval, we need to see it. So
we're gonna table this?
Yes.
For 1 more month.
May I make one more suggestion, please?
Please.
Okay.
With your next submittal, stand out in front of the house and take a photograph that shows both doors in place. And if there are windows above and you can do it, turn your camera vertical, give us a good shot of that area, because it's impossible to see from the road.
Yes, that would help. Thank you, Jenny.
I absolutely will do that, Jenny. And honestly, when you see that picture, my first proposal should have been accepted because the whole house has 9 divided lights throughout it. And it was free, historic, but I'll do that. And thank you.
I can't speak to that, and I won't speak to that. I wasn't on the board then.
Apparently nobody was at the time, but thank you so much for your openness. And
Good luck. Thank you.
I'll bring some options to the table. Thank you.
Okay, we'll look forward to seeing what you propose.
All right, thank you.
All righty, thank you.
Well,
Okay.
fine, but you can't deal
The
with
next
that.
application is 34 Monroe Avenue for a dock on the canal and stairs down to the dock. Presenter Renee Stetzer. Renee, you there?
Yes, we are, Bill. Hi, everyone. This is Renee.
Sorry, it's been such a long haul.
Thank you. Adam Stetzer, 34 Monroe.
We are proposing a 14-foot dock, residential dock with stairs, complying with the Canal Corporation guidelines and building code, made with pressure-treated wood.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Renee, go ahead.
Do you want me to say the description again?
Yeah, if you would, please.
Okay, we are proposing a 14-foot residential dock with stairs made of pressure-treated wood, complying with the Canal Corporation guidelines and built to building code.
So you have been in consultation with the Canal Corporation regarding this and have
Yes.
followed their code?
Yes, and we already submitted our application about a month ago with the joint application with DEC and the Army Corps of Engineers as well.
Okay, all right. Now they control the dock itself. They don't have anything to say about the stairs, do they? And the railing?
Only that they're built to code is their requirement.
I beg your pardon?
Their requirements that it's built to code, Bill. They defer to the local building inspector for stairs.
I have a question. Yep. I have a question. This is nothing visual, and this is not, before Jeff and Steve jump on me, I'm just asking a question. Does the Canal Corporation have a requirement for the depth of the pier? 42 inches seems a little iffy to me because you don't know what the material is that it's going to go in. So does the Canal Corporation have a requirement for the depth of the concrete pier?
Yeah, Kevin gave us that and Steve confirmed it when he came out to look at the plans and visit on site. So both Steve on our call and Kevin from the Canal Corporation.
So the Canal Corporation finds 42 inches to be acceptable?
That's our understanding, yes.
Okay. I would just hate to see your dock float away.
Us too.
And then this is Lisa, just a clarification, this is all wood deck?
Correct. All pressure treated wood, Lisa.
Okay, thank you.
And the railings, okay? Those railings are to code, is that correct?
Yes, yes.
In terms of height? And,
as well as spindle separation, correct, both code.
And Steve, you can't issue a building permit until you verify that, right?
Correct. And if the picture I sent around, it's unsure because of the grade of the 30-inch requirement from step to grade. So I put a note on the drawing that it would be, the railings had to be a minimum of 36 inches in order to accommodate the barrier requirement in case there was a 30-inch drop or more on a step to the ground, to grade.
Okay.
What is the required railing height if there's more than 30 inches?
36 to 42.
So our responsibility on HPB is simply the style of those railings, right?
Correct.
Okay. So comments, concerns, questions by board members.
What are this is Jenny Searle. What are the balusters? You know what I mean by the balusters? What are the spindles in between the posts?
Pressure treated wood.
What is their size? Are they square? Are they rectangular?
No, they're square. These are, Home Depot sells a 2x2 pressure treated.
2x2. And what?
We think it looks appropriately historic. Just what you'd want.
And what's the railing material?
Pressure treated as well. There's a lot of moisture back there, and it's on the north side of the bank. It will never dry, so it's all pressure treated.
It's got to be pressure treated outside. What does it look like? What does the railing top? What does the cap of the railing look like?
That'll also be pressure treated. Yeah, I don't. I'm not sure what choices we actually have there. Pressure treated. It's not like typical decking where you have lots of choices and tongue and groove, etc. Because pressure treated, it doesn't get cut that way.
No, I'm aware of that. That's why I'm asking what the top's going to be, because it's not shown here and I don't have any idea.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's a good question. What do we have? We have like 4/4 by 6 on the deck. That's called out. 5/4 by 4, I guess, for the top of that.
Will that be installed horizontal or vertically?
I was thinking horizontal would be most attractive, but we're open to guidance.
I just think a horizontal cap would be hard to hold on to.
Okay.
My feeling is that if it's 2 by material, 2x6, for instance, that's 1.5 inches, and that's an easy size to grip. If you're going down the stairs, if you're carrying life jackets and picnic material and kayaks or canoes, whatever, you need something you can hang on to safely.
So Ginny, I'm sorry, are you talking about the railing?
Yes, I'm talking about the cap of the railing.
The cap or the railing?
As you go down the stairs.
The railing, what you hold on to going down the stairs, correct?
Yes.
And that's called the railing, right?
That's the top cap of the rail.
Okay. So what they submitted, they didn't give us enough information for that. Is that what you're saying, Ginny?
I'm asking what it is because it's not called out. Yes, we don't have that information.
Okay, and what did you say, Renee or Adam? What are you saying about that? I'm just trying to get it in the notes.
Well, what we're hearing is there's a safety concern from Ginny, which I believe is probably something Steve would advise us or our contractor related to code. Is that an aesthetic concern, Ginny, or what is your question, please?
No, it's not necessarily an aesthetic concern.
Well, then that should be a code thing then, right?
Yeah,
right, Steve?
I don't think it's a code issue. As long as it has a top cap on the railing, I don't think it's a code issue. I think it's a functional. I think it's a functional issue. If it's at the top of a deck on a horizontal surface, a 2x6 laid horizontally on top would be fine. You're going to be sitting out there in your lawn chairs, and you don't have a railing at the bottom.
Right.
So,
okay, I get that. Jeff, is that our jurisdiction?
Steve has a comment.
Hi, on that railing, they would have a choice, and I don't know how you feel, the board feel, but they have a choice. If the 2x6 leaves enough space vertically to have your hand without hitting the top of the spindles, that's fine. But if the spindles are close, I would suggest a 2x4 flat on the top to have a top cap on the rail, not a 2x6, so that you have a grip space, and then you're not going to grab the spindles, or your fingers aren't going to get hitting the top of the spindles as you're going down. You have a nice meat surface to grab your hand to.
So you're agreeing with Ginny that it's a more functional to have that grippable top cap on the railing, right? It's not code.
When I typically have done a deck, I would normally put a 2x4 top cap on a top rail, so you have a nice sturdy surface to put your hand.
Okay, so this is a functional comment.
this is Jenny again. That's a flat surface though, Steve. I'm older. I don't go down the stairs without holding on to the railing anymore, and I don't go down the stairs without the lights on. So I'm probably more sensitive to that, but I also know, because we used to go to a cottage all the time. There were stairs going down to the lake. We were always carrying, snacks for the kids and chairs and life jackets and toys for the dogs and all that stuff. And you just need to be able to hold on to something. That's a long run on that stair, and you don't want to tumble all the way down.
Okay, let me make this clear. What we're
Lisa's
talking
question.
about here is a functional safety comment that we don't have any control over. We're suggesting this to you as a safety item functionally, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, great. Thanks for the input. I wrote it down. We're very open to that. That sounds
I
great.
think Jenny's point is we need to know which
What you
way you're
decide.
going to do it
Yes.
so that we have it in the record.
Yes. So if you can give us an
yeah,
idea of what the railing top is going to be?
I can respond to that. Steve just recommended a 2x4 cap, and it sounded like Jenny agreed with that, so that'd be fine with us. 2x4
Okay.
pressure treated cap.
So I'll say the railing is a 2x4 cap.
Yep.
Okay. That's just so the record.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay, good.
And then I just have one more question. The posts, the 3 posts in the picture, will you have a cap on the top of the post, or will they just be squared off? Is there going to be anything decorative there?
You're talking about the 6x6s?
Yes, correct.
And Lisa, are you talking about on the stairs or on the outer edge of the water side of the dock?
The top, the very top of the 6x6, when you first at the bottom, right where you have the deck, and then the top when you start, because it looks like that's the only place that you've got a cap. It kind of comes above the railing. Do you see what I mean?
Right.
Right now you've got it squared off, and it looks very square and just simple. Are you keeping it like that? Or are you putting any kind of ball on top or any kind of finial?
No, we're not fans of balls. We weren't proposing that. Probably a rain cap just for durability of the wood, but nothing substantial that you'd see across the canal in the water.
Okay.
And you want a rain cap, or you could bevel the 6x6 like a pyramid.
Yeah.
You just want the water to shed off of it rather than sit there and soak into the post and rot it.
Good point. Yeah, so maybe a bevel, that makes sense.
I typically 45 all 4 edges of a 6x6 top cap if there's not a post cap physically going on. And the same thing with the handrail. I always physically route the handrail edges down versus leave them as a raw square edge. It just makes it a little more nice for handhold and, and not having any splinters or burrs on it.
That's a functional thing too. Yeah.
Yeah, we'd be happy to route the bevel, and that makes sense.
All right, so are we ready to make an motion? Does anybody else have any questions?
Anybody have any other comments from the board?
No.
Okay, go
So I would like
ahead,
to make
Lisa.
a motion. I make a motion that the HPB approve with conditions below for stairs going down to a canal made by Adam and Renee Stetzer, property located at 34 Monroe Avenue, canal side. The conditions, the added conditions are specifying the railing will have a 2x4 cap, and there'll be no ornate caps or finials on the 6x6, and it would be, what are we saying? It would be mitered or
Beveled the edges.
beveled edges. Do I have a second?
Second.
I second, Phil McBride.
Okay. Roll call, Linda?
Okay. Okay, Chair McBride,
Yes, I vote yes.
Member Cove,
Yes.
Member Searle,
Yes.
Member Morrow,
Yes.
and Member Harrington.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, passes.
Well,
Motion
congratulations, you got it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Sorry it's been such a long wait.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, the last application is 7 Cheyenne Place for stairs leading up to the building. Is the applicant online?
I think he's muted right now. I think he's caller 1.
No, that's me.
Caller one.
Pierre. This is Pierre.
Okay.
Yeah,
Here's your-
Pierre, is that you?
He's good.
This is Pierre. Yeah.
Okay. Pierre, you've been at the tail end of this, and I'm sorry it took so long to get to you, but we'd like you to tell us what you'd like to do. Describe your application, please.
Looking to add a staircase at the end of the currently existing porch. The purpose is to provide one directional traffic flow as required by the COVID rules from CDC and the so basically we're trying to put in place some stairs that will allow us to egress the what I call the northwest side of the port.
So you'd use the existing stairs as an entrance and these as an egress to the building, right?
Correct.
Pierre,
And would you describe?
I'm sorry, Pierre, I just have a question. I see that you submitted the Thrive stairs as an example of what you're thinking of doing. Are you thinking of doing the exact same look with the flat railing, or are you going to match the railing that you have already on the building?
The railing that we have on the building and the railing that Thrive has is basically exactly the same. Well, yes,
Well,
we're doing exactly the same.
Exactly the same as what you have on your building, because actually the flat railings that Thrive has are a little different than the one you have. You have kind of like a flat, and then there's another piece of wood on top, which is a little rounded. So I just need to clarify, are you planning on using the same look as the railing you have?
No, the railing will be exactly like the, I'm copying the design that has already been approved and implemented with Thrive.
The entrance railing, correct?
Correct.
So, all right, so then it's going to be different. It's going to look different than the railing that you have on your building.
Correct.
You know that, right?
It'll be exactly the same, like the one that's about 8 feet from it.
But that's a different business, correct?
Correct.
No, that's no.
So my question is, would you be willing, or would you, I mean, it wouldn't take much to just mimic the railing that's on your building as far as design goes. I think it would look much more in keeping with your business to just use the same style as the railing that's already there. I don't think it's going to be that.
I'm totally open to go that way. If that's something that the board wants, I am totally 100% for it.
This is Jenny.
I thought that the fact that the reason why I proposed what I was saying is because of the proximity to the other steps.
Sure.
I thought
I get it.
that was but I'm totally good with the other way too. So.
This is Ginny Searle. I think it's more important to have the new construction relate to the existing construction rather than the stairs, even though they're close. They're not attached to the railing system you already have. I think that the railing system for the stairs should match the railing system that you already have in place on your deck.
I'm 100%. I'm with you. I'm go with you.
I'd like to ask one other question. There's a small utility box of one sort or another. I don't know if it's telephone or cable. It's not electric, but there's a box there that's going to be interfered with, or it will interfere with the landing. Will that box be relocated?
There's two boxes there. There's the mailbox. The mailbox will be placed on the other side of the door, the stairwell, and then that telephone box. All right, so that, as we all know, and I think all members of the board would recognize that's a roster telephone wire box. There isn't one business in in Shane Place, or excuse me, in that building.
So it's not
right
in
now.
existence anymore. You can take it
That
off.
doesn't even work. If anybody wants it for any historical purpose, I'd be more than happy to donate it to somebody who would pull it out. But otherwise, it will be gone.
Okay, that's better. Far better to remove it altogether than just locate it. Great. But it doesn't say
Absolutely.
so on the application.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Yes. Good point. Does anybody want it?
What is that box called? Or what is it?
Telephone box.
I think it's a junction. I think it's a junction box.
Box, Lisa.
Okay.
Phone service box. You can, if you take it off, you can take it out to the eco park and they'll recycle it.
Perfect.
They take all that electronic stuff and then they'll recycle the metal box.
So does anybody else have any questions about the proposal?
I have none.
Any issues? Any problems?
I have none.
Okay. Lisa, you want to make your...
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we approve with conditions for stairs at made by Pierre Poros at 7 Shone Place. The conditions are the style of the railing will match the existing deck railing, and then the removal of the old phone service box will be done. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I second. Bill McBride. I second.
Okay.
Okay, roll call.
Roll call. Chairperson McBride.
Yes.
Member Cove.
Yes.
Member Searle.
Yes.
Member Morrow.
Yes.
Member Harrington.
Yes.
Motion passed.
So be it. Congratulations. You got
Well,
it.
thank you. It looks like,
Sorry, it's been so long getting to you.
Looks like you guys saved the easiest ones for last.
Yeah. Okay.
Ordered by Dave Arrival.
Hey, thank you so much. You guys stay
Okay.
safe and keep
Good
doing
luck.
what you're doing. The village looks great in large part for the hard work you do, and we really, really, really appreciate it. So keep doing it.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Very
you.
much.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay.
So
We
we
have
have
some-
minutes for approval?
We have minutes.
Yes, Linda, we have one set of minutes, right?
Right, correct.
Okay, and that is the minutes of
May 11th.
Yeah. Anybody want any time?
I've already read them.
Yeah, I have to. Yeah, yeah. I have no problem.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from Monday, May 11th. Do I have a second?
I'll second. Jenny Searle.
Okay. Here we go. Member McBride.
Yes.
Member Cove.
Yes.
Member Searle.
Yes.
Member Morrow.
Yes.
Member Harrington.
Yes.
Minutes approved. Thank you.
Okay.
So Linda, just so you know, Linda, I'm going to bring these by in my little forms that I used.
It
for
would
our
be great.
motion.
Yes, thank you.
I'll bring those by so that you can put those in the record. Thanks.
Good.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Good. And we had talked about doing a session after this, but I had hoped the mayor was going to be included in this, and so I think maybe we put this off and do it later.
Bill, what was the session supposed to be?
Well, it was on process of applications and approvals, but I'd like to have a full group of people involved in that. Okay, so maybe we'll do a special meeting or something by virtual. Okay.
Great.
Steve.
Oh,
Yeah, I just want to let you know I made a couple of changes on the form. Linda was going to change it. I made sure that it was put on the form that a building permit will still be required once you receive approval from the board, and that all building permit applications must adhere to New York State building codes.
Good.
That will be placed on the application form.
Good.
Okay, and it is Steve, your responsibility to make sure it does conform to code, right?
That's fair.
before
That's why
issuing
it's
a
the big
building permit.
bucks.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right.
All right.
Okay. Jeff, do you have anything you wanted to cover with us all?
No?
Okay. All right.
All right, I got my mouse on leave.
Real quick.
Okay.
All right.
All
Thanks,
right.
everyone.
I just
Night.
Close
want,
the meeting.
hold on. Hold on.
Dorothea,
One
Dorothea.
sec. I just want to
Dorothea?
inform the board, currently, the video conferencing, the way we're doing meetings is continuing till August 6th. The governor has made a habit of continuing this like midnight that night and burying it on me. Thank you for Jeff finding it this time. I don't anticipate this. I anticipate this continuing. So we have
Virtually.
virtually. So maybe we have another practice session just so we can start really, we need to figure out the glitches so we don't have the 20-minute hang up with everybody.
Yeah.
And I think that it
or,
might be
or,
a good idea for the board to get on 10 minutes early before,
Right.
you know,
or
before
at
the 6
least.
o'clock.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, or 15
As a
minutes.
matter of fact,
Right.
I tried 10 minutes early. And
I tried 10 minutes. I tried 10 minutes early also tonight, and
Yep.
I'm with
Yeah.
Dorothea. I think we should have a practice session.
that's
Yeah.
fine with me
Yeah,
too.
that's fine. That's good. You,
Okay.
Dorothea, you propose one and we'll do it.
All right.
You
I'll
know
take
what?
a
You know
look.
what might be a good thing, Bill? Why don't we have our meeting with Bob Corby as a Zoom meeting and we could practice it there?
Yeah, that's good thought. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I will look at getting that scheduled for you guys, just so we
Okay.
can
Okay.
smooth out
All
the
right.
hiccups with you guys. Okay?
Okay. Good.
Great.
All right. Thank you.
All righty.
Thanks, everyone.
Good
Have a great
night.
night.
Thanks.
Motion to
Hey,
close.
did you?
Okay. Take care, folks.
Motion to
Bye-bye.
close.
Thank you.
Motion to close.
I close. Yep.
I'll move to close
Agree.
the
All righty.
meeting.
I agree.
Okay.
Bye.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Are we having roll call? No.
No, I don't think so.
Oh my God. I'm going to start drinking.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay.
All right. Are we closing out?
Yep, we're closing out.
All right. See ya.
Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.